Ninaona mambo yanafahamu mjane. What I mean that type of dancing. All I want to say you are never dancing in a cultural dancing. Gentlemen, a special dancing team by the amateurs of dance. 5 gentlemen, 5 ladies. Interesting challenge. That's right. Sit down there. Well, your company is a company. You only have one dance in your head. After that is finished, it's finished. Which other one? One arrangement, I just want. Okay, I will pretend to know it. Yes, that one. That's a very nice one. So you come back and never tell each other. All right, lovely. If there was a challenge to put up a team like this one with 5 students, male, 5 students, female, as dancers, I'll get the drummers from the other side. How many people would wish? And then after that, Pastor Chichita will lead us in prayer and we get started. Over to you, choir, for the national anthem.
Stand and sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of work and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for their rights. We've won freedom's fight. Strong and free, Africa is our own motherland, fashioned with and blessed by God's good hands. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun. Strong and free, one land and one nation is our pride. Dignity and peace needs Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee. Strong and free, praise be to God. Bless our great nation, Zambia. Free men we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee. Strong and free.
Let's pray. Our everlasting Father, we glorify you today. We worship you. We bless your holy name because you're the King of Kings, the one who is proceeded in nature. The ceremony, yes, with oneness in the name of Jesus. We pray, Almighty God, that there will be peace and harmony even as we interact, Almighty God, and as we listen to speeches in the name of Jesus. We commit everything into your
May be seated, ladies and gentlemen. May you take our seats. My job is very invisible this morning, ladies and gentlemen, because there are senior voices that will stand among us to share words and wisdom, but also orchestrate this entire event up to the summit of cutting the ribbon in the special launch, the special opening, the grand opening of the Ndoala campus of Chreso University, which is exciting, isn't it? I'm sure the students are happy about it. Mulizi. I wish to make quick acknowledgements of senior people that are among us. I will bother His Royal Highness,
Senior Chief Chiwala to stand, and I will not do the rest bother to anybody. I will only bother the Chief to stand because we want to celebrate you. Sorry, sir. I'm very sure I've broken protocol, but why I bothered our traditional leader to stand is because he represents the fundamentals that do establish our identity as a country, as a people, as a nation. And so thank you very much, Your Royal Highness, for being part of the ceremony this morning, for joining us, and for helping the journey of the future of Zambia to be baked even here at this wonderful institution, Chreso University. So thank you to a great measure for being here. Please, a big hand for our Chief. When we move away from the landlord, now we can talk about the tenants. So the Chief, in all our respects as Zambians, carries the identity of our land, and the greatest honor is always bestowed upon our traditional leaders. I say this deliberately because we want the young generation to embrace this and carry it forward with decency and respect. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the guest of honor, the Honorable Minister of the Province of the Copperbelt, is the Permanent Secretary of the Province, that is Mr. Bright Nundwe. Please, let's give a hand. Let's give a big hand. And the District Commissioner is also among us, as DC Canon George Chisala. Please, a big hand for the DC. And I also wish to acknowledge the presence of the Mayor of Ndoala, Mr. Amon Chisenga, Tuwato Telecom Kwai. We have a guest from the Copperbelt University, that is Professor Sita Sizia, that is the Dean of Medicine from the Copperbelt University, and is here representing the Vice Chancellor of CBU. Please, let's give a welcome to our guests. I'll also acknowledge now our local host Chancellor, Pastor Reuter. A big hand. The credentials are always just that. The branding of our beloved pastor and now Chancellor, of course, here remain the same everywhere all the years. Ever since I knew of him and knew of his name, it's the same brand and on the same pulpit. Thank you for your consistency, Pastor. And also want to acknowledge our Vice Chancellor from Chreso, Professor Christopher Simonga. Please, let's give a hand. And we do have the Assistant Managing Dean, Mr. John Dean Kandu, who's with us as well. Kandu, looks like you have a lot of soccer fans now. Wow. A lot of soccer fans, even if you might not play soccer, sir. Thank you, thank you. We also want to make a special recognition to our guest from Northrise University, the head of strategic partnerships, Mr. Stephen Sikobela. Please, a very big hand for him. DC, the right name is Chisolo. That's correct, huh? Chisulo. Chisulo ni mwaku ni mwekasi. Ku ni kwa mene huku. You are the people who eat rats, eh? Are you asking about the people or the rats? Because you're from the eastern side, sir. Yes. Mukuri ambeva. He says it. Please, we had a bother with microphones. I don't know if they are working now. We celebrated the load shedding of the microphones. Therefore, I do not know how we shall successfully deliver technologically speaking, any of these activities. But I believe that we can still very, very well deliver this program and this ceremony. Soothe us through, they will do likewise. For now and for starters, I wanted to invite the enrolling or recruiting a special performance that could sing a song. And there she was with courage. I said, these are the women of the future. So I'm thinking now we should invite Linda, and she drops a song. So Linda tells me normally she doesn't do a lot of a cappella. She sings along an instrumental.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ndoala. I'm a Chreso university student. I'm doing my bachelor's degree in public health. Wow.
Some people search forever for that one.
order to give a slight test of opening
of Ndoala campus, Chreso University. I will not go into the detail of anything, but just foremost to acknowledge the dignitaries who are here. I have a rare privilege and really honor to acknowledge the Permanent Secretary, Copperbelt Province, Mr. Bright Nundwe, who is Senior Chief. His Royal Highness Senior Chief Ndoala is also joined us. He's our father in this area. He has come to see what we do. Thank you, Your Royal Highness, for being here, and you are most welcome. I also wish to welcome to the District Commissioner, Mr. Chisulo. Thank you, sir, for being here this morning. I also wish to acknowledge the Professor Sizia, who is representing the Vice Chancellor, Copperbelt University. He is the Dean, School of Medicine, Copperbelt University. You are welcome, Prof. May I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Scobele. He is representing the Vice Chancellor, I'm told, Northrise University. Also, Mr. Banda from NOTEC. Thank you for being here, and thank you for joining us this morning. The Assistant Managing Dean, Mr. Nkandu. May I also, of course, maybe ask my Chancellor. I rarely do that, only when there are other dignitaries. That's when I have an opportunity to ask him to stand so that you can now relate the picture you see on TV to this face. A hand for him. Thank you all, and it's my duty is simple, but to invite the Chancellor to come and give us his opening remarks. Mr. Chancellor, sir.
Good morning, invited guests. It's my great pleasure today on this beautiful sunny morning. We love the rain, but we also love the sunshine for occasions like this. We are very welcome here all invited guests celebrating together with us this official opening at Chreso University Ndola campus on the Copperbelt. Thank you once again for agreeing to come and witness this historical occasion in the life of our university. I know the year is just beginning, and I know most of you are quite busy in your representative workplaces. And so we are especially grateful that you have found time to join us this morning. It's a pleasure to welcome every one of you that has found time to join us here at the university campus, Chreso University campus at the Copperbelt. In special moments like this one, I find myself reflecting on the sense of fresh beginnings of the Chreso story and the infinite possibilities that we can all experience when we put our trust in our God, our Father in heaven. I'm usually used to preach. Official speeches are not my strengths, but nevertheless, let me do my best to deliver this speech. First, I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Permanent Secretary, Mr. Bright Nundwe, representing the Honorable Minister for Copperbelt Province, who is today our guest of honor. His Royal Highness, Senior Chief Ndoala, thank you that you have come to be with us on your own soil. This is great, thank you. His Worship the Mayor, Mr. Amon Chisenga, the District Commissioner of Ndola, Mr. Chisulo, the Vice Chancellor of Chreso University, Professor Christopher Sumonga, the representative of the Vice Chancellor of Copperbelt University, represented by Professor Cecilia, Dean of School of Medicine, the Assistant Managing Dean, Mr. John Nkandu, lecturers and staff of Chreso University Ndola campus, the area councillor, the representatives of the media houses dotted around the Copperbelt, the company chief executives represented here today, Our dear parents, we have always treasured as you render support to us in different ways. All students and everybody have forgotten. May I say, simply all protocols observed. Honorable Permanent Secretary, we as Chreso University, who are in the private sector, oh, now it's happening. Now I'm getting confused. I hear myself twice. But bear with me, don't worry. We as Chreso University, who are in the private sector, are extremely delighted for allowing us to officially legitimize our operation in this area in line with the relevant legislation, and secondly, for allowing us to contribute to the growth of the educational system in our beautiful country, Zambia. In accordance with the law, the approval to operate has been made possible by the Higher Education Authority, whom on the 8th of January 2020 conveyed the approval of official registration for Chreso University Ndoala campus, and subsequently awarding the campus a license to operate in line with the Higher Education Act No. 4 of 2013. Further accreditation of the learning programs was successfully done by the HEA, and this has been augmented by the fulfilling statutory requirements from other regulatory bodies such as the Health Professionals Council in Zambia and the General Nursing Council of Zambia. We must hasten to mention that despite the difficulties faced to reach this goal where we are today, Chreso University is very grateful for the professionalism exhibited by Higher Education Authority for awarding Chreso University Ndoala campus the certificate of recognition to operate. Honorable Permanent Secretary, we are aware that higher education in universities and colleges all over the world, and Zambia inclusive, is undergoing seismic transformation due to internal and external demands, and at the same time we face as universities extraordinary pressure of finding efficient ways of doing business and making ourselves relevant to society's needs, since we are not immune to such pressures like we have at the moment with our change of climate. Chreso University is currently running 2-degree and a diploma course. The 2-degree courses are Bachelor of Public Health and Bachelor of Nursing with diploma in Clinical Medicine. The graduates from Public Health and Nursing degree can work in both private and public institutions. The former undertakes many disciplines, including prevention of occupational health. Our goal in learning is to expand opportunities for hands-on and ensuring experimental learning takes place to meet the needs of the industries in public health and nursing career. The guest of honor, we as Chreso University have resolved to contribute to the Zambian economy and the health sector in particular by producing well-informed and skilled graduates. Chreso University depends on the critical mass of lecturers who are well-trained and experienced. We believe that when we grow older, our sapience also increases as we gain experience and knowledge. Sapience is an important quality in a good teacher or mentor, since students can benefit from that wisdom. Well, maybe aside from my speech, I may say I'm particularly happy because we have been running clinics, HIV/AIDS clinics in particular, and mobile clinics, and we have always had many difficulties to find the necessary personnel to man these clinics. And we need much more, to do much more in the training of health workers. My wife, who is a registered nurse, has been pushing that agenda on me, who am a pastor, for a long time. And I'm very, very excited that we can contribute in a small way to the personnel to man all these different health posts that have been constructed around the country to fill them with life and attending to patients in the nation. Our vision is to become the highest attraction and life-changing university in Africa. As an institution founded on principles of Christianity, the approach is to allow us, as many are able to undertake university learning, but are disadvantaged in one way or another economically, but given opportunity through flexible mechanisms of payments and fees. Further, ensure that our graduates are imparted fully with the values that come from Christ of selflessness, respect, care, and support for individual patients, clients, and society at large. Dear guest of honor, the Ndoala campus is well located to facilitate smooth learning. As has already been observed, it's a beautiful setting here. But of course, this location is not without challenges. As a university, we can only go so far. The first challenge is, and I'm sure you have seen that when you came, certainly the road leading to the university is accessible but with major difficulties, especially like now in the rainy season. We therefore, dear guest of honor, we request for help through your able office in creating or refurbishing the road, which will help to make our university more easily accessible, especially in times like now, by our students, and of course, most importantly, as a feeder road to benefit the community, including the farmers located in this particular area. Non-availability of a health post, that's number 2. We request that DHMT supports us to establish a health post which will make available drugs and primary health care programs, such as malaria prevention programs, and make available to the community vaccination kits and other under 5 health programs, to mention but a few. This type of support can avert malaria and endemic diseases. You may wish to know that the only formal health facility we can run to around this area is St. Dominic, but this facility is nearly 10 kilometers away. Third, insecurity at the university due to non-availability of a police post. The university has experienced sporadic thefts almost 3 times in a space of 1 year. We have lost computers and other essential teaching and learning accessories for students. Honorable guest of honor, we are requesting through your office to consider building a police post at our premises to ensure security not only at the university but also for the farming community around the campus in the area. We will make a very special formal request available to your office soon. Dear guest of honor, we also have a challenge of power supply, as we have just seen. Okay, this was another load shedding of the microphone, but we often depend on the generator. But this has been a challenge. At times, the school has no power due to prolonged hours without electricity outside the normal load shedding schedule. This poses a problem to our students that need electricity at night for their studies. I get a support here. Thank you very much. Well, it's very difficult to read without light. We have the capacity to build a police post at our school, and we make the humble request that you have to have your approval that this will be supported as a proposed purpose development. Our future plans, notwithstanding, we will endeavor to produce students that have the acumen of skill coupled with the strengths of recognizing their potential ones in the field. So, but to do this, the university may require your support as partners to attach our students to your companies, hospitals, health centers, and city councils. Especially our worship, the mayor, we are going to bring some students to your place. Public health is a real need in every public institution, and we are giving you the cadres that will take care of that. The university plans to establish similar service as we have done in Lusaka to provide ambulance services for the university, but at the same time serve our communities in line with Chreso's philosophy of meeting the needs of communities. And I want to assure you, sir, that our commitment is unwavering. Chreso University will establish a clinic and have an ambulance on campus which will not only be available to the students, but to the community as well. Dear sir, the mathematician and philosopher Alfred North Whitehead once said, "The art of progress is to preserve order amid change, and to preserve change amid order." We need both. We need change. You know, we are undergoing tremendous transformation in our world today in general, and of course in Zambia in particular. But within the change, we need to keep the order. This is our task, to preserve what Chreso University has been and has stood for across the years in Zambia, even in the face of pressure to focus on the immediate and instrumental, and to evolve to meet the demands of these changing times. We do not face a choice between tradition and change, between the familiar and the new. We face an opportunity and an imperative both to embrace thoughtful change and to affirm our core values in the ways that fulfill this extraordinary university's enduring promise to its students and to the world internationally. It is my great privilege to be joined with you in this work. Guest of honor, sir, would be failing lamentably in our duties if we forget to sincerely thank you for your quick support and your physical presence to this official opening of our school, and for finding time within extremely busy schedules. And to all our invited guests, and indeed to our dear parents, we sincerely wish to extend our thanksgiving to you for accepting to come and support us at this special occasion in the life of our students, and indeed in the life of this university, which is now proud to be represented on the Copper Belt. To our colleagues and friends in various institutions and organizations, we cherish our partnership and hence do trust that our students will be rendered the support to learn in your enterprises so that in turn they too as qualified professionals will contribute to our country's social and economic growth. I want to really express my sincere gratitude to all of you to be here today. It is a landmark for us. As Chreso, we have been working in many different places in Zambia, and we are happy to have finally come here to Ndola. So I would love to thank you, and may the Lord our good Lord, our God, through Jesus Christ, bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. Please, let's give another big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor, sir, for that very enlightening word. It's now my honor and privilege to invite Professor Sizia, the the Dean School of Medicine, who is sitting in for the Vice Chancellor, Copperbelt University, to say a few remarks. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's a slight adjustment to the program. Thank you very much.
The guest of honor, the Permanent Secretary, Senior Chief Ndoala, the Mayor, District Commissioner, the Chancellor and the Vice Chancellor of Chreso, BSc Clinical Medicine, the BSc in Biomedical, and the Masters in Public Health, together with the Masters in Medicine, in Surgery, Urology, Pediatrics, and that is the Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Bachelor of Science in Public Health. There, you'll be our big brother. And then Bachelor of Science in Environmental Health, and lastly, the Master of Science in Applied Epidemiology. So lastly, but not least, we really have to emphasize together the research component of teaching. I thank you for having invited us.
Thank you very much, Professor. It's time now to invite our guest of honor to speak with us. And so I'll invite our District Commissioner, Commissioner Canon George Chisulo, to come up front and invite for us the guest of honor to speak with us. Over to you, sir, please. Tiwalandire.
Good afternoon. Guest of honor, before I invite you, allow me to say, presenting the Minister for the Copperbelt Province, who is not here, is attending to other national duties in Lusaka. The Chancellor, representative of Copperbelt University, NOTEC. May I also get permitted to ride on the protocol that has been already mentioned. Before I call my PS to address us, government has given a lot of leeway to the private sectors to invest in education. Without education, we cannot develop. Allow me now to invite our guest of honor, PS for Copperbelt Province, Mr. Bright Braga Nundwe. Sir, I invite you to address your people.
You go and sit there. Go and sit. Please take your seats. The way we are seated as if we are mourning. Please turn to your neighbor, say you look beautiful. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. Just to balance up the empirical formula, turn to your neighbor, say you look handsome. Can you hear me from there? These are the moments that you ought not to be angry. May I recognize the presence of His Royal, the Highness, the Senior Chief Ndoala of the Lamba people, His Royal Highness is very instrumental to the development of this country, and particularly in the Copperbelt. Anyone that melts or dilutes the efforts the Royal Highness is making, I have no regard to such a person. This man means well to the Zambian people. Let's give him a clap offering. May I remind you, therefore, that His Excellency, President of the Republic of Zambia, Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, with his government, formed up a very prominent Ministry of Chiefs and Traditional Affairs. To me, it signifies, it portrays, it tells you that we attach a lot of importance and significance to every single traditional leader across the country. These are the ones that are the owners of the land and the people. Anyone that comes here to invest, we need to approach him. And I want to implore you to work with His Royal Highness, Senior Chief Ndoala. May I recognize the presence of His Worship, the Mayor of the City of Ndola, Councillor Amon Chisenga, the District Commissioner for Ndola, Commissioner Colonel George Sulo, the Chancellor himself, Chreso University, Pastor Dr. Helmut Reta, very difficult name. I know that man very well. He may not know me. I am a deep Pentecostal theologian. His church is one of the most stable churches in this country. I know where his church is. I listen to his sermons nearly every single Sunday. He's always on the radio when I'm in Osaka. This man means well to the Zambian people. These are the churches we're looking for. And the role of the church in this country is to pray for the entire government, starting from the president, cabinet, PSs, directors, mayors, DCs, all senior government officials, and the rest of us. May I remind you that leadership does not come from the west, or from the north, or from any sort of direction, but leadership cometh from above, the maker of the heavens and the earth. The Bible reminds us, I'm going to prepare mansions for you in heaven. Those that are in me shall be with me in the paradise. There must be no commotion as we live. And therefore, the church has a huge role to play just to reconstruct, to mold, to reclaim, to rebuild, and pour some wisdom on all of us. Because the Bible says wisdom is a principal thing. Get wisdom. And wisdom is the rightful application of knowledge. May I recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Christopher Simonga, Badala Mulikabotu, Twarumba. The Assistant Managing Director or Dean of Ndola Campus, Mr. John Nkandu, senior management from different institutions that have come on this, or to this very important function. To me, it signifies again that you want to see unity and collaboration. Again, when you read the Bible reminds us that where there is unity, God commands a blessing. You can be the richest university. If in the absence of unity, you can't do anything. There must be order, there must be unity, there must be sanity, there must be excellence, there must be consultativeness. Therefore, may I implore all universities on the Copperbelt to work together as a team. Where you see deficiencies, let's whisper to each other. Very important. There is no one who has got the haven of wisdom or peace. We need to learn from each other. Learning will never stop until we kick a bucket or we go to the grave. Very important. May I recognize the presence of all the lecturers and senior members of staff present here, the officer in charge, Ndoala Central Police, Mr. Kauseni, the business community, our parents, and of course the students, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I simply say all protocol observed. Please, it's not protocols. Wherever you go, it's protocol. Turn to your neighbor, say protocol. Otherwise, they will laugh at you. I normally don't read speeches, but I'll be forced because there are very critical issues in this speech. I'll be forced to read. I love just talking. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, before I get deeper into this speech, just like our DC mentioned, firstly, there is no single government across the globe that can develop in the absence of education. Teachers, preschool teachers, lecturers, deans, professors, these are the foundation layers for all of us. I speak better English here because I was first taught by what? By a teacher. And therefore, a teacher is very critical and very significant. Anyone that melts the efforts that are being made by any sort of a teacher, at whatever level, I have no regard to such a one. Can we respect our teachers? And all these you are seeing here. At some point, as parents, we surrender our minute, tiny children at a tender age, 3 years, 2 years, 4 years. Nursery school, preschool. They spend the entire day, up to 16 hours, assisting us as parents. And therefore, these people you are seeing here are very critical and very significant to the development of this country. It is therefore my singular honor and privilege to be here today at the inaugural ceremony of Ndoala campus, Chreso University. I would like to thank the management of Chreso University for opening up a school on the Copper Belt. May I remind you, I'll be pausing. Copper Belt is number 2 to Lusaka in terms of population. In terms of contribution to the GDP of this country, Copper Belt is always number 1, from the ancient days up to this single minute. Just Kitwe alone at the moment, in terms of population, Kitwe is almost higher than Northwestern Province. Kitwe as a district, the population of Ndola alone is higher than Mchinga Province. The population of Kitwe is higher than Mchinga Province. Geographically speaking, Copper Belt may not be too big, but this is where there's huge, serious business. We are the biggest contributor to the domestic GDP, gross domestic product of this country. We have done a series of projects across the province. We may have 1 or 2 challenges, but I can tell you, this province has benefited so much. Right now, we are putting up a marvel, the most splendid international airport called Copperbelt International Airport, at the value of $397 million, and that's not a mean amount. To me, we want to change the landscape of Copperbelt. We are doing a huge dam in Kafulafuta that will be supplying water in Mpongwe, Masaiti, Luansha, including Ndola itself, at almost $450 million at 78% in terms of completion. Again, it tells you that the PF government means well to the Zambian people. We'll be doing the township road, sir, and I'm pretty certain I'll make a command myself, using my ink to melt, to make sure that this road is done. This is the area where there's serious farming. Copperbelt Province receives excellent rainfall pattern every single year because we get it from Congo Air. It's Copperbelt. Northern, Muchinga, Northwestern, Luapula, a bit of Eastern. When the president made a pronouncement in Luapula that Luapula alone can feed the entire country, to me, I'm saying Copperbelt can also feed the entire country. But we need to excite our farmers. We need to grow a lot to make sure that we do serious farming. But that requires excellent road network, which we are doing, and we'll make it certain that this road is done. We want to excite everybody. This institution is very critical for Copperbelt. Load shedding, I'm trying to get on the challenges first. Yes, we are compounded with load shedding as a country. The water levels now are rising up. We have reduced in terms of hours. I hear you. On critical hours where our students are learning, that's the time where ZESCO can be a bit flexible so that our students are learning. I hear you. And I will talk to the regional manager and, of course, the divisional manager to make sure that they can look at it and remodify to make sure that we suit our students around here. But what is important, as I remind you, students, if you are here, your attitude is very critical for this institution. I don't want to see a section or a family or a pedigree of students that want to destroy this university. This is your facility. Take care of it at all costs, every single day. I have always mentioned it is your brains. It is your attitude that will take you to higher altitude. Very critical. From here, which is something else, but I'll be forced to do it. Educational needs of today. Your presence here reflects the commitment that you have in having strengthened school governance that promotes equal opportunities for everyone. Investing in education is perhaps the most important investment any government can make. I'm going to sample this speech. I want to repeat, if you check around the country, we are building a series of schools all over the country. It's very expensive for government, but we'll make sure that we plant a series of universities coupled with private universities. This government cannot develop alone without the positive input of the private sector. You are very critical, very important, very significant, paramount to the development of education in this country. We have a lot of universities under health or a series of schools around here which do a lot of fields. You go to Chinsari right now, we have got Robert Kapasa Makasa University, which is functioning under CBU. We have CBU itself, Mulungushi University, Chreso University, Copperstone University. The other one is what? Silver what? Northrise University. All over. Unilas. You go everywhere. You go to Chala, you see a university. Frederick Chilwa University in Wapula. We are building all over. To me, the president is telling us that we need to attach serious premium on issues of education across the country. We can't develop as a country in the absence of serious education. And this government means well. The government of the Republic of Zambia, led by His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwalungu, the President of the Republic of Zambia, is committed to providing a conducive environment for both the public and, of course, the private sector in terms of investment. The beauty with this country, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, your royal from Ghana, from China, from South Africa, Malawi, Botswana, Zimbabwe, name it Tanzania. If you invest in this country, you are guaranteed that your investment will prosper, will flourish, and it will reach the apex of it. That's the beauty of this country. May I remind you, please, let's continue talking to our friends across the globe that please come and invest in this country. We mean well, and we mean business. this country will never be the same again. This mic of yours is falling, it's almost tilting to the east, where I come from. It has gone down. Have you seen it? Turn to your neighbor, let it not fall on the PS. So every single university in this country has a role to play. And may I remind the management of all the universities across the province, let us have rich lessons with fabric, with a lot of fiber in it. Schools or fields that can benefit the Zambian people. And I was expecting that maybe there's theology around here. Do we have theology at this school? In future. We are developing a profile now for this country where nearly every single school there must be a subject to do with issues of morals at a tender age. The values and principles of this country should be taught in schools. Agriculture should be a subject that should be compulsory now. Because the President of the Republic of Zambia is saying with his cabinet, let agriculture be the mainstay of this country. And the beauty with it is that when you do serious agriculture, you eat yourself, you can even sell some. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our universities have a big role to play in our quest as Zambians to develop and to deal successfully with the challenges being faced by many people. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, challenges will always be there. What is important to me is the manner, the vision that you use to handle such. In fact, challenges make you wake up. If the graph is always like this, you can't wake up. There must be challenges, but we should have the capacity to deal with such. The Higher Education Act number 4 of 2013 is a demonstration of the PF government commitment in ensuring that a conducive environment is created for higher education across the country. I have sampled your speech, and I'm concluding now. Mr. Chancellor, sir, and your board, that's what is written here, University Administration, I would like to sincerely congratulate you for your hard work, which is culminated into the successful registration of the new campus, and indeed, jury accreditation of the learning programs being offered by the higher education institution and authority with the Higher Education Act number 4 of 2013. Again, may I say congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now declare Chreso University, Ndoala campus, officially opened. Thank you for your attention. I'm not sitting down. I'm not sitting down. I love to lecture people. We have so much confusion in most of the universities. We want you to drop such confusions. There is no prudence in rioting. When you see at this institution that the management has failed to give you a bit of beef, if it's a boarding institution, there is a better way of how to handle such things. I don't want to see any single riot on the Copper Belt. This country is known to be a peaceful country from the ancient days up to now. And therefore, I don't want to see any pedigree of any student demonstrating. You want to break millers, It's very expensive to put up an institution of this magnitude. Let us respect the management of this school and let the management reciprocate and also talk to the students peacefully and nicely. You need to have a very strong human resource to explain to the students, to say, this is the capacity of the school at the moment. You are still growing as a university. You haven't reached that level. Understand this university, very important, and begin going to church. I wish you all the best. We want this university to flourish. There is nothing that is difficult across the globe. When you read the Bible in Luke 1:37, the Bible says, nothing is impossible with God. Other versions say, nothing shall be impossible with God. Other versions say, nothing will be. There must be boldness as you are learning. Again, the Bible tells me, God has not given you the spirit of timidity or fear, but of sound mind, power and authority. Turn to your neighbor and say, you have authority. I thank you.
We need to make copies so that we can. Yeah, please. Satavina Mwek. I was busy screaming outside, hallelujah! Because PS is a bishop. Go deeper, Papa. Eh? No, he's more sound than the usual ordinary prophets of nowadays, sorry to say. But truly, we are very grateful. I stood in many corners, inside and outside, hearing you speak. Thank you for speaking passionately, with authentic words, not from a politician's mouth, but from a leader. Because we could hear you responding to the plight that is being echoed. I saw people smiling with brightness when questions of load shedding were being dealt with. So really thank you for being responsive to the question. Chreso, guest of honor to my personal testimony, when I was running one of the programs, Ready for Marriage, some years back, I will not enroll you. They were generous enough to extend a scholarship for one of the participants who had been chased away from school. And they said, come here for all the years it will take until you get a degree. And for sure, that person got a degree. But before she could start her school, the husband was also not doing well, rather the husband-to-be. So there were conversations that were run. Chreso said, just come as a couple. So they went as a couple, and they completed their education. So the generosity of Chreso, I think, amplifies their sense of existence, not as a capitalistic enterprise to make profit, but to really serve. Because the campus in Lusaka, which I was more prone to knowing, there is a clinic that provides to people that are more afflicted. So I think there's a great heart. And there's a church, I wish to testify to that effect. I think Chreso is not an ordinary enterprise, but I think a venture to change lives for the better. So thank you very much. Guest of honor, you have one final assignment attached to what you've just done now, and that with the kind leadership of Chancellor, you, together with the rest of VIP entourage and the rest of us, will follow through to the main administration block, where I'm alerted there stands now a ribbon that shall be cut in the honor of this great grand opening. And I'm sure that the